boys.
One week removed from perhaps the biggest week of professional wrestling in a good while, we are here once again ready to get down and dirty when it comes to the topic of professional wrestling. And you damn right, I checked the mic and it damn sure sounds right, boys. And that could only mean that. Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest fucking show on earth. Streaming across 4 different platforms, across 6 different accounts. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, God. You smell that? You smell that? That right there is the smell of pure excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind! And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, September 10th, 2022. It still feels like summer, even though summer has unofficially ended. Let's be real. September is an unofficial 4th month of summer. We got to acknowledge that. But we have a lot to get into. Holy shit. I thought shit was actually going to calm down a bit after last week, but apparently not. We got a shit ton of material to dissect, including the absolute catastrophe that took place over the AEW weekend after All Out. The big shit didn't even happen on All Out. And a lot of big shit happened on All Out, but the main shit happened on the media scrum where CM Punk just absolutely buried the company and several of its top stars, which resulted in a physical altercation with the Young Bucks, along with Kenny Omega. Ace Steel was also involved. We're going to dissect that in depth. And I got a lot of shit to say about that. I've waited a long time to air out what I need to air out as far as that goes. But we will get into that a little bit later on. Of course, we got a nice little audience thus far. We got the Final Hoss. Shout out to the Final Hoss. We also got Mitch Kovsky. And Mitch Kovsky laying down the law once again, showing everyone that I am the absolute best in the motherfucking business. So shout out to him. We also got Shooter, Peanuts, and Hula Grim. And you're damn right, Hula Grim. I fucking make caffeine nervous. This is all natural energy. I don't need no caffeine. I don't need no Pepsi, no Sprite. I don't need no fucking Mountain Dew, no Red Bull, no Monster, no cocaine, no nothing. No nothing. This is all natural energy. You want a drug? DJ Storms can be your drug. We also got Normal Guy. Tomorrow is, of course, his birthday. Tomorrow is, of course, his birthday, so shout out to him and a happy early birthday to him. I hope that he has a great birthday tomorrow. Shout out to Michkovsky one more time. I hope he had a great belated birthday. He had a great belated birthday. Of course, his birthday was over the Labor Day weekend. It was September 4th. Hopefully, he had a fantastic time. So, before we get into the main festivities here, aside from the CM Punk Elite drama, aside from that, we also got Triple H coming out and stating that he's not trying to fix anything in the WWE, which is complete bullshit, and we're going to dissect why that is bullshit. Malachi Black has been given a conditional release from AEW, and we're going to talk about why it's not a legit release. It's not a legit release. It's just a conditional release in name. We're going to talk about that, as well as the rumors of why the match with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy went so short. It wasn't just to play up to the storyline. Christian Cage is legit injured. We're going to dissect that and what's going on there. And I got 4 weekly shows for you. We're going to review Raw. We're going to review Dynamite. We're going to review a match from Dark, which was Claudio Castagnoli defending the Ring of Honor World title against Ari Daivari. We're also going to review SmackDown and Rampage. We got a solid Friday night of pro wrestling. Wednesday and Friday were the good nights of pro wrestling. Raw, not so much. Raw was a little lackluster. We're going to talk about that, though, in depth. But first things first. People, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you follow me on social media at History Maker DJS. That is at History Maker DJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Of course, the little banner down below is telling you where my ats are. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at History Maker DJS. Please add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please make sure that you send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. All of the links are indeed in the description. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, check out the Rewind for WWE Clash at the Castle with Nick Fiore. We dissected everything in depth that went down at Clash at the Castle, which was a fantastic show and perhaps the best show of the entire weekend. We also have the Rewind for NXT Worlds Collide and All Out with Mr. Jeffery Turner. That, of course, took place this past Monday on Labor Day. We went nearly 3.5 hours. And we dissected everything in depth. The last 3 videos of the weekend last weekend were great. The LFU last week is at 140 views. The Clash at the Castle Rewind's at 197, 3 views away from 200. And then the Rewind for Worlds Collide and All Out, that is currently at 128 views. So you guys did absolutely fantastic last weekend. A very successful weekend for the brand. I could not have done it without you. I am very appreciative of all of you. And of course, we also got to give a happy early birthday to Dee Dee. Not really sure where she is right now. I don't see her in the chat. Hopefully we'll be able to see her a little bit later on. But happy early birthday to Dee Dee. And if you know her on Twitter, if you've talked to her on Twitter or in the chat, please make sure you wish her a happy birthday. She's going to be 42, and she still looks like $1 million. I don't know what she does. I'm not sure if she's drinking from the fountain of youth, but she looks phenomenal. We are nearly 10 minutes into the stream. People, if you're not liking the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. You come on in and you like the stream. That's how it goes over here. Also, when you like the stream, you got to share it out on all platforms, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Got to share it out. It's very vital that you do so. Please make sure you share it out. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on my channel, please make sure that you hit the like button. And then after you hit the like button on my channel, go over to the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel and like the video on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. If you're watching on Hardcore Sports Twitter or my Twitter, please make sure that you retweet the tweets and like them, get a wider outreach, of course. Please make sure if you're watching on the Facebook group, like the video as well. And of course, Twitch, hit the like button on the Twitch stream as well if you're watching on Twitch. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching on Hardcore Sports or the DJ Storms YouTube channel. We have just surpassed 170 subscribers. We're at 171 exactly for Hardcore Sports. We just need 29 more to get to 200 subs. Hardcore Sports is growing at a pretty decent rate, but I think it can grow a little bit faster. So if you haven't subbed to Hardcore Sports, subscribe to Hardcore Sports right now. We have a lot of shit that we want to get out. We have a lot of content creators looking to get their material out there. And now with football season starting up, we are looking to expand, and I'm talking about expand our outreach wider than ever before. We are really going to ramp it up for football season. So please hit the subscribe button for Hardcore Sports. Also hit the subscribe button for my channel. And hit that notification bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube because it's the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn and chin strap combo. And Hooligan, trust me, I saw your comment earlier. The beard and the mustache combination, they are on point today. I shaved, I touched it up, and we're going to light it up right here on the channel. With Earl Cole's favorite part, this right here is the magic comb, and we're going to light it up on the channel, on Twitch, on Facebook, on Twitter, with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of Because like Campbell's soup, oh, I'm so good. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the drill. You already know the drill. Everyone should follow in the footsteps of Hooligan and give me a Anyway, enough of the chit chat. We got a lot of material to dissect. Let's not waste any more time. Let us get right into the news, rumors, and reports. Of course, let's start off with Triple H. While speaking to Ariel Helwani on BT Sport, Triple H, he was interviewed about a multitude of topics. I do not have the full interview for you guys. If you want to go and listen to it, you can look it up. It is all over the internet. This is the same interview in which he claimed that, Bruce Pritchard, he's not running NXT, and they tried to take the blame for Shawn Michaels and how NXT, oh my God, it's developmental, but he wasn't saying that 3 years ago. It was a bunch of bullshit. The majority of this interview was bullshit, and this is no different. He claimed that he's not trying to fix anything in WWE. So he stated, and I quote, "I don't look at anything and go, I need to fix that. It's just what works for me. That's really where it's at. I look at things a certain way. To me, if I want to have the Intercontinental title mean something, I need to make it mean something. I am a big advocate of the past. Sometimes when you lived in the past, you don't see it the way other people do that were outside looking in on the past." End quote. Now, that's just a portion of what he said as far as this topic relates, but the words that followed the initial sentence in this response contradicted the first sentence. Now, he said, I don't look at anything and go, I need to fix that, but then he went into a spiel a few sentences afterwards talking about how he's fixing what was wrong. If I want to make the Intercontinental title mean something, then I need to make it mean something. So pretty much he's telling you, without actually telling you, yeah, the Intercontinental title didn't mean shit under Vince McMahon, and I'm trying to fix it. He pretty much told you that he is trying to fix things, but the first sentence that he said, he goes, oh, I'm not trying to fix things. And this is to be expected from him. And this doesn't just have to do with Triple H. This doesn't just have to do with professional wrestling. This has to do with any major business owner. Hell, even the small business owners, whether they are running a 7-Eleven, an Acme supermarket, a fucking Toyota company, a fucking Pepsi company, Ace Hardware, AT&T, Tractor Supply, or a professional wrestling company, NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA. All company owners are like this. All the company owners say the same thing. They never say anything negative about their product because apparently it is seen as a sign of weakness. And that's not the case. So Triple H right here, he's just towing the company line, but he's telling you without actually telling you, yeah, I am trying to fix things. But he said, the first thing he said was, oh, I don't look at anything and say, oh, I need to fix this. So Triple H, he bullshitted everyone with the first sentence, but then he kind of answered the question with the next few sentences that followed. This is just Triple H dancing around the actual topic, and he's not just going to openly come out and say, yeah, our company sucks and we need to fucking fix it. Yeah, Vince McMahon's booking tactics suck and we need to fucking fix it. He's not going to openly come out and say that because at the end of the fucking day, he is a company line tower. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Tony Khan, Triple H, whoever owns MLW, fucking Scott D'Amore, who owns Impact Wrestling, they're all going to say the same thing about their fucking company. They're going to toe the line and they're going to say something positive and dance around the negative questions because every single company owner, they all see negatives and they all see admitting where they went wrong as the same exact thing. It's a sign of weakness. And that's not the case. It's actually a sign of strength. Admitting that you're wrong and working to do better is actually a fucking sign of strength. And I really wish that a lot more people would see it that way. But of course, now with social media, they can never admit that they're wrong because everyone on Twitter needs to find something to complain about, something to dissect, something to shit on because they're fucking so miserable that they need to bring other people down to their level. So they're going to shit on someone who's actually doing a successful job at whatever company that they're running, and just because they admit that they went wrong, that automatically means that the company fucking sucks. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. But Triple H, he bullshitted everyone in the first sentence, but then said, yeah, I'm not trying to fix anything, but I am trying to fix shit. So he doesn't want anyone to think that he's trying to fix shit. He pretty much answered the question with X amount of other sentences. And he's trying to twist and turn his words without actually saying, yeah, I'm trying to fix things. But that's Triple H. That's Triple H. That's what he did. It is what it is. If you want to read the full story, you can listen to it on your own time. We have a lot more topics to talk about than just Triple H. Malachi Black. Malachi Black. Now, fans in attendance at All Out in the Now Arena saw Malachi Black take a bow, blow a kiss to the crowd, and embrace the House of Black during the interim in between the last match of the show, which was Moxley and Punk, and then the six-man tag between House of Black, Miro, Darby Allin, and Sting, which was the second to last match on the show. During the interim, when the camera was not rolling on them, Black blew a kiss, took a bow, and embraced the House of Black, pretty much signaling that he's done. Now, according to PW Insider, Malachi Black will be taking time away from wrestling. He was set to face Matt Taven at NEW Pro Wrestling in Niles, Ohio, but has since been pulled from his booking at the event. Malachi Black has also been moved to the ending of the M section of superstars on the AEW roster. So, in the end, you'll see all of the superstars that begin with the letter M, their first name M, in alphabetical order, but Malachi Black is at the end. Reportedly, he was given a conditional release. Now, what does that mean? Some people were saying that, yeah, he's released for mental health purposes. He'll take all the time that he needs to get right, and then he'll probably go back to Triple H. Is he thinking about going back to Triple H? Possibly. Possibly. But I don't think that Tony Khan is just going to openly let him go. That's not going to happen. Now, the House of Black and their booking has been shit, but it's all these other outside factors that attributed to their booking being shit. Their booking was shit because, A, Malachi Black had a back injury, and you can't really push the House of Black with Malachi Black out because Malachi Black is the figurehead, and he should be at the forefront of their booking because he's the main leader of the House of Black, number one. Number two, they don't have enough hours of TV time, and when they negotiate their TV deal coming up in 2024, they need to negotiate a second hour of Rampage live on Thursdays. And then number three, it just has to do with the fact that there's so much fucking talent, and Tony Khan he's going around in circles. He is doing too much all at once, and he needs to assign certain people to handle certain aspects of the booking. I'm not sure if he's in the process of doing that, but whether he is or he isn't, he needs to immediately, as soon as he possibly can. But I don't believe that Aleister Black, Malachi Black, Thomas End, whatever the hell you want to call him, I don't believe that he would just ultimately decide to give up on AEW after a year. He's only been there for a year and 2 months. It's not that long if you think about it. He's signed to a 5-year fucking deal. And if he's got a 5-year deal and he's looking to opt out already after 1 year, that really wouldn't look good on his part. Do I think that he is thinking about going back to Triple H and WWE now that Triple H is taking over? Possibly. But I don't believe that was the reason why he wanted out. It would make him look like a piece of shit if he was to say, yeah, I have mental health issues and I'm going through a rough time mentally. I don't know what he's going through mentally, but I'm not going to cross that bridge because that's not my business. At the end of the day, his personal issues are his personal issues. But at the end of the fucking day, if he was to say he had mental health issues and then he turned around and went right back to Triple H, it would kind of make him look like a dick. It would kind of make him look like a piece of shit. Kind of make him look like a turncoat. So I do not believe that Triple H was the main reason why Malachi Black was feeling mental health issues. I don't believe his booking was the reason why he was feeling mental health issues. Whatever it is, I just hope he's okay. I just hope he gets better. Now, as far as what Tony Khan did, this conditional release, I don't see this as a release at all. I just see this as Tony Khan letting Malachi Black take the time off that he needs to recuperate. He's still going to pay him. He's going to give him all the support he needs, similar to what he's doing with Jeff Hardy right now when Jeff Hardy goes into the alcoholic rehab program and AEW is paying for that. Same thing that what Jon Moxley did, and AEW is supporting Jon Moxley when he's out rehabbing after he went through a battle with alcoholism. Same thing with what AEW did with CM Punk and when Punk was out with injury. They're going to support the people that are out on injury or they're out on a mental health leave because they're still under contract, but they're not going to fucking release them. The same issue that happened with Moxley, that would happen with Punk, what's happening with Jeff, it's happening with Malachi. Malachi is being let go off of TV, but he's not being let go of his contract. Tony Khan would be foolish to let Malachi Black go. And you know what? When Malachi Black comes back, he could very well have a newfound fan base. He could very well be more over than he's ever been in AEW. So now that Malachi Black is in this scenario where he's off of TV, Tony Khan is going to continue to pay him. And he said, look, get the mental help that you need. Get the mental help. Get the spiritual help. Relax. Get yourself together. Get your home life together. Take care of whatever issues that you have. And when you're ready to come back, you can come back. I do not see Malachi Black wanting to sit out of professional wrestling until his contract is up. Tony Khan is not going to let Malachi Black walk right out of his company and right back into Triple H's arms if that is the case. He's not. He would be an idiot to do so. Tony Khan knows how much value Malachi Black has. It may not seem like it, but he knows how much value Malachi Black really brings to his company. So what he's going to do is he's going to grant him the time off. He's still going to pay him, and he's not releasing him from his contract. He's going to continue to pay him, and Malachi Black's going to be paid to sit at home and get himself mentally right. And when he's ready to come back, then he comes back. I don't see this as a release at all, and neither should anyone else. Braun Strowman. Earl Cole just entered the chat. Happy belated birthday to Mr. Earl Cole. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. According to PW Insider, following his return on Raw, Braun Strowman will be presented on the SmackDown brand going forward, and he will be a babyface. Now, Braun Strowman being back legitimately offers little to no value whatsoever. Is he going to be booked better than he was under Vince McMahon? Yeah. Yes. More likely than not, yes. But at the end of the day, what exactly is he going to do under Triple H that he hasn't done under Vince McMahon? He's done everything there is to do. The only thing that he hasn't done is win the United States Championship. And if he's not going to be on Raw, then U.S. Championship gold ain't coming for Braun Strowman anytime soon. A match with Bobby Lashley would be somewhat interesting, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. However, I will say that SmackDown is probably the best place for Braun Strowman for 3 specific reasons. The 3 reasons are the 3 superstars that would honestly be the best possible feuds and matches for Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman legitimately holds no value. He does the same shit over and over again. The fans may love it, but it's the same shit over and over again with Strowman. He looks great. He got himself into the best shape of his life. I will say that. He leaned up. He shed some fat. He put on a lot of lean muscle. Trimmed up his beard a little bit. He got new ring gear. He looks to be in the best shape of his life. And I very much respect him for getting into that good a shape. But at the end of the day, what's he going to do that we haven't already seen before? The only 3 matches and the only 3 feuds that I can honestly tell you would be slightly entertaining for Braun Strowman would be a match with Sheamus, a match with Gunther, and then a match with Karrion Kross. And all of those scenarios, Braun Strowman should be putting them over. Braun Strowman should not be used in a role in which he is going to be a main event player. Braun Strowman needs to help put others over as a singles guy. The only role that I can honestly see Braun Strowman succeeding at, if he's going to be a main star, is if they bring back Eric Rowan, they bring back Bray Wyatt, they reunite the Wyatt family, and they have the Wyatt family go on an absolute fucking killing spree, and we could potentially get matches with Imperium, we could potentially get matches with Judgment Day, matches with the Bloodline. That would be great. Matches with the Brawling Brutes. That would be good. Outside of that, there's really no role outside of putting over those 3 men that I just mentioned that I can honestly see Braun Strowman succeeding at. I'm sorry. Braun Strowman is not a main event player. Braun Strowman is not a guy in which you are going to push as a main star. He's not. He does the same shit over and over again. There is no variety. There's no wow factor with Braun Strowman. There's just not. I'm sorry. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm ranting for nothing. Maybe Braun Strowman could surprise us. Maybe he could surprise us. Who the fuck knows? We'll wait and see what happens. But those are the supposed plans for Braun Strowman moving forward. I got more news on Triple H. It was announced by WWE that Triple H will now take on the title of Chief Content Officer. He will oversee creative writing, talent relations, live events, talent development, and creative services, and his role will report to WWE co-CEO Nick Khan. Now, I would say that this is a very good thing. However, I don't want Triple H to do the same thing that Tony Khan is doing right now. We're already seeing the flaws in Tony Khan's game because he is taking on too many responsibilities and he's neglecting some while putting others before. Tony Khan cannot run everything. That's why Tony Khan needs to assemble a real solid developmental and creative talent relations team in which they can manage a few things here and there, while Tony Khan can mainly handle the business side and the creative side. Because right now, Tony Khan is handling much more than business and creative. There is a lot of shit that Tony Khan is taking on that he cannot handle on his own. Now, I do have a little bit more faith in Triple H to assemble the right team. It just takes time. Now, how long is that going to take? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. But Triple H, he's taking on more responsibilities, and I know for a fact that Triple H is definitely the right guy to do it for the time being until he finds the proper individual. And as far as Nick Khan goes, I mean, if Nick Khan is going to handle the business side of it and stay out of the creative side of it, then I'm not going to really mind Nick Khan. I'm not really going to mind Nick Khan. We haven't heard much of Nick Khan since Triple H took over. It's mainly been Triple H, and that's it. Triple H has been handling all the creative aspects of Raw and SmackDown. So Nick Khan, he can handle the business side of it, and that's it. I got a ridiculous report on Thunder Rosa. I mean, I'm not sure where the fuck this came from, and it really just goes to show you how fucking pathetic people really are. Thunder Rosa, according to these random reports, reportedly requested her release for AEW And that rumor was completely shot down. Brian Alvarez confirmed that this report never fucking happened. I don't understand why anyone would think she would request her release from AEW. Because at the end of the day, Thunder Rosa, she is a core centerpiece of the women's division. She defeated Britt Baker in what was 2 excellent matches, in the Lights Out match and then the Steel Cage match. And then she had some great matches with Toni Storm, some great matches with Deeb, great matches with Jamie Hayter. She's going to have another great match with Toni Storm again once she comes back from injury. So I'm not really sure where these rumors circulated from Thunder Rosa requesting her release, just because of the supposed shit booking she's gone through. Could her booking have been better? Yes, but it wasn't absolute shit. And on top of that, these fucking pathetic reports saying that she hid in the bathroom after she broke Jamie Hayter's nose. It's quite frankly ridiculous. She is slowly but surely becoming AEW's version of Sasha Banks, where she does all the work and she's one of the best in the fucking company, but yet everyone spreads all these smear campaigns against her. It's completely fucking ridiculous. People need to fucking check themselves, really. Christian Cage and his match with Jungle Boy was surprisingly quick. It only lasted about 25 seconds because Luchasaurus came out and he absolutely destroyed Jungle Boy, which was very well done. Christian blew a kiss to Jungle Boy's mom, which I laughed my ass off at, and we inevitably saw Christian Cage get the victory here. Now, Dave Meltzer confirmed as to why Christian Cage's match with Jungle Boy went so quick. It actually didn't have anything to do with the storyline with Luchasaurus. It actually didn't. Reportedly, it was because of a torn tricep. And that means after surgery, he will be out 8 to 9 months. Now, I don't think it's going to be 8 to 9 months. I think it's more likely not going to be around maybe 4 to 6 months. They always overdo with the amount of time that people are going to be out. The timetable for how long they're going to be out, it is always way too long. It's never as long as they say. Cody Rhodes, as we speak, Cody's probably ready to come back by Survivor Series. Cody Rhodes is probably going to be ready to come back after the torn pec by Survivor Series. I mean, look at what happened with John Cena. Now, John Cena's a different breed. John Cena's fucking Superman. But at the end of the fucking day, these timetables are always over-exaggerated. Christian will be back within 4 to 6 months. He's not going to be out for 8 to 9 months. I'd be shocked if he's out 8 to 9 months. But it does suck what happened with him. It does suck what happened with him, and this storyline now is to be put on hold. The best route to go with this Jungle Boy Luchasaurus angle, and I've already mentioned this, even whether Christian was going to be there or not, I still mentioned that now with Luchasaurus turning heel, he was always going to turn heel. I said that we need to add Wardlow to this. Wardlow should be standing up for Jungle Boy because Jungle Boy needs help. That way we can get a Wardlow versus Luchasaurus match for the TNT Championship. And I'd like to believe that that is inevitably where we will be heading, because right now, Wardlow, with the newfound intensity that he got on Wednesday's Dynamite after he just completely demolished Tony Nese, him versus Luchasaurus, him versus Miro, those are 2 matches that I would absolutely love to fucking see. That's what I'm going for. So whenever they do, I'm absolutely adding Wardlow to this Luchasaurus Jungle Boy storyline for the time being. CM Punk. This is a big one. CM Punk was the talk of the town. So was the Elite. Not in a good way. You might want to strap in. So after All Out went off the air, and MJF made his return to a thunderous fucking pop. All Out went off the air. CM Punk, after AEW All Out, went on the media scrum, and he went completely off the script. He unleashed hell. He went legit rogue. He was shitting on various top stars in AEW. He trashed Colt Cabana, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Page. In one of these rants, he went on about Colt Cabana stating, and I quote, "Now it's 2022. I haven't been friends with this guy since 2014, late 2013, and the fact that I have to sit up here and we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs who couldn't manage a fucking target, and they spread lies and bullshit and say that I got him fired when I want fuck all to do with him." That was one of the many, many quotes that CM Punk said. He also ragged on Adam Page going into business for himself in that final promo before their match at Double or Nothing. If you remember, he was face-to-face with Adam Hangman Page, and that final promo on the final Dynamite before Double or Nothing, Adam Page mentioned something about workers' rights and how he didn't stand up for Colt Cabana, specifically CM Punk, and he didn't say Colt Cabana by name, but that's pretty much what he was referring to. Pretty much CM Punk said he's a dim-witted fucking airhead. He ragged on the Bucks for the supposed rumors being spread. As you know, the Bucks actually went to bat for Colt Cabana because Tony Khan was not planning on bringing Colt Cabana back. And then the Bucks went to go bat for Colt Cabana, and Tony Khan brought back Colt Cabana. He is now working for the Ring of Honor brand, as we saw him at the last two Ring of Honor pay-per-views that were done under Tony Khan. Let's take a break here, and let's dissect this piece by piece. Now, before I go in depth on anything that had to do with this, because there's a lot to unpack and there's a lot to fucking dissect, I want everyone to understand. Absolutely, positively, nobody was in the right. No one that was involved in this scenario was in the right. Adam Page wasn't in the right. Tony Khan wasn't in the right. Matt Jackson wasn't in the right. Nick Jackson wasn't in the right. Kenny Omega wasn't in the right. Ace Steel wasn't in the right. And CM Punk, sure as fucking hell, was not in the right. I do not want to see anyone taking sides here. No sides are to be taken because every single individual, every fucking individual involved in this scenario did something wrong. They do not have any fucking excuses. No sides are to be taken. Everyone did something wrong. Let's start with Adam Page. Now, Adam Page could very well be looked at as the spark to all of this. Adam Page could very well have sparked up all of this. I understand that AEW promos are unscripted, and that is perfectly okay. That's how wrestling should be. Unscripted, real, and genuine. That is not the problem. However, there is an unwritten rule in professional wrestling, and this doesn't just have to do with pro wrestling either. This has to do with acting too. When you are in a profession like pro wrestling or acting, something like that, something that's predetermined, something that's already planned out, if you want to get creative and you want to go off the script and you want to go down a lane that is a rather sensitive lane, you need to double check with the person that you are working with to make sure that he is okay. I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, I was given a commentary gig for an independent wrestling event. Crowbar was the guy that recruited me. Crowbar, Christopher Ford, WCW Cruiserweight Champion, Tag Team Champion, Hardcore Champion. I owe the absolute world to that man for giving me that opportunity. It was probably the best experience that I've had as a professional wrestling fan. He created his own wrestling company. And his own wrestling promotion called Rescue Mania. He used WrestlePro to help him bring it about. Now, what happened is he recruited me to be the commentator, and I wasn't getting paid for this. This was completely free that I was doing. Completely fucking free. I was not doing a single fucking thing for a single dime. This was all for charity. However, I was 20 years old. I'm 23 now. I was 20 years old. I treated that shit like my life depended on it because I did not want to disappoint him. Do you know what I did? I wasn't getting paid a dime for this, but I got there 2.5 hours before showtime, and I typed up notes. I wrote down notes. I went there with a fucking clipboard and a notepad and a pen. I went there and I went around to all the wrestlers, all of the wrestlers in the show. I went around to all of them saying, hey, how you doing? I'm DJ Storms and I'm commentating your match. Is there anything that you specifically want me to say to hype you up? I wrote down some notes, and you know what the wrestlers did? They told me what to say and what not to say. So much so that I actually got a compliment by one of the wrestlers over there. I remember it like it was yesterday. His name was J. George Thunderheart. He fought Vinny Pacifico on that day, and he told me that what I was doing was an excellent move. If I can do that at 20 years old, I'm 23 now. If I could do it at 20 years old for an independent wrestling event in front of 200 people where I'm not even getting paid a fucking penny, there's no reason why Adam Page should not have been able to go to CM Punk, talk to him about what happened, and talk to him about what he was going to say to make sure that Punk, Phil Brooks himself, was okay with that. That is where Adam Page went wrong. I'm sorry. You do not, and I mean you do not, under any circumstances, go into business for yourself. You don't. Especially not like that when you are a part of the second biggest wrestling promotion on the fucking planet. You do not go into business for yourself and potentially risk causing backstage drama. Adam Page should have talked to Punk about what he was going to say, and he should have known well before. He should have been mature enough to know that Punk may have gotten mad about this, and he should have talked to him about it. So Phil Brooks, in that instance, Phil Brooks is 100% justified in being angry there. I do not blame CM Punk for being angry. However, the way that Punk went about it is inexcusable. I have no problem with someone being angry. You want to be angry? Be angry. You want to be angry? Be angry. That's your right. You can act however you want and you can feel however you want as far as a certain scenario goes. But at the end of the fucking day, if you are the biggest star in the company, the biggest draw in the company, you do not, and I'm sorry, you do not go and do what you did at the fucking media scrum. Hell, you don't do what you did on Dynamite where you called out Adam Page when he had nothing to do with the program build between you and Moxley. And listen, I love CM Punk. CM Punk will go down as one of the greatest superstars of the modern era. He's the reason why I'm straight edge. He made professional wrestling cool again back in 2011. I'm sure I can speak for a lot of people. A lot of people are CM Punk guys. However, there's one thing about CM Punk that it just leaves a sour fucking taste in my mouth. I'm sorry if this pisses some people off, but CM Punk is a fucking thin-skinned pussy. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about your beliefs. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about what you want to be passionate about. But I mean, CM Punk, he's so fucking hypersensitive. I'm sorry. Phil Brooks may very well be in the wrong profession. What he's doing right now is a profession in which drama is going to start. You're going to hear a lot of rumblings on social media. There could very well be rumblings backstage. There could very well be drama backstage. But it is all about how you handle yourself. Could some subjects be touchy? Yes, absolutely. But that does not mean you go and handle them the way that you handled them. And it's not just Punk. It's all types of fucking liberals. CM Punk is a liberal scumbag. Any and all types of fucking liberal scumbags should not be public figures. Robert De Niro, fuck Robert De Niro, fuck Lady Gaga, fuck Katy Perry, fuck Dave Bautista, fuck them. Fuck them all. They all need to be gone and out of Hollywood. They are a detriment to this country. And I don't want to get political. I'm sorry if this pisses you off, but it's fucking true. Liberals are the bane of this country's existence. you can add CM Punk to that list. I love CM Punk, but he is a fucking hypersensitive, liberal douche. He is a douche, and if he is going to act this way, if he is going to get his panties in a bunch over rumors and something that happened like that, and he's not going to act like a fucking professional, and you're going to hear that word a lot. You're going to hear professional, and you're going to hear communication a lot in this rant. If he is not willing to communicate like an adult and act like a professional and not act like a fucking teenager, then you know what? Maybe he should find another profession. Maybe he should take a day job at Acme. Maybe he should be in a fucking finance building doing fucking finances and accounting because he's out of the public spotlight. I remember one promo that Kevin Nash cut on him saying that he looks like he comes from a fucking Waffle House. Maybe he should be working at a Waffle House if he's going to act like this. Social media is a toxic place, and everything that happens backstage in a huge company like that, you are bound to get drama ensuing. It is all about how you handle it. Jericho, Moxley, Bryan, they have handled all of this shit like fucking professionals. Punk should have been acting like a fucking professional. He had every right to be mad at what happened with Adam Hangman Page, and he had every fucking right to be mad at what he said. However, he had no right to do what he did. He had no right to call him out on Dynamite, and he had no right to call him out on the media scrum like he did. And when it comes to the Young Bucks, he had no right to do that either. Let's talk about the Young Bucks now. Let's talk about the Young Bucks. Let me take a drink first. Let's talk about the Young Bucks. Now, there are supposed rumors that the Young Bucks leaked, stating that Punk tried to get Colt Cabana fired from AEW. Listen, I want you guys to think about this logically. Think about this logically. Does it make any fucking sense? Does it make any fucking sense that the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, would leak rumors that is going to give their biggest draw and their biggest star in the company negative traction, a guy that is bringing AEW a lot of fucking money? Does it make any sense for the Young Bucks to risk the reputation of their biggest fucking star when they know they want this company to last long after they are not wrestling anymore? Do these rumors make any fucking sense to you? They don't make no sense to me. If you're asking me, these supposed rumors of the Young Bucks leaking the information that Punk wanted Colt Cabana fired, I call 1000% bullshit on that. I'm going out on a limb and saying it's nothing more than hearsay. It is nothing more than dirt sheets and reports trying to start up drama. I'm calling that report to be bullshit. Now, if it's true, which I don't believe that it is, at the end of the fucking day, they're in the wrong regardless. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but what reason do the Young Bucks have to leak information on Punk? The Young Bucks are in better ring shape than Punk. Some could even say that they're more over than CM Punk. Some could even say they've had better matches than CM Punk. So why are the Young Bucks pissed off that Punk is being portrayed as a major star right now, when in reality, after this deal is over with CM Punk's going to retire? CM Punk isn't taking up a spotlight from the Young Bucks. They were going to be the first ever Trios champions, but yet they're jealous of CM Punk. It makes zero sense to me. It makes zero fucking sense. I am telling you right now, I am telling you that everything that you hear about the Young Bucks spreading rumors about how Punk wanted Colt Cabana fired from AEW, I call 1,000,000% bullshit. So if Punk had an issue with the Young Bucks and these supposed rumors, you know what Punk should have done? Punk should have found Matt and Nick Jackson before the pay-per-view, maybe if he wanted to after the media scrum, and he should have talked to the Young Bucks. He shouldn't have cut that promo on the Young Bucks, bashing them, saying that they couldn't manage a fucking target, regardless of how funny that was. It was completely unnecessary and uncalled for. He should have sought out Matt and Nick Jackson, and he should have said, hey, can I talk to you about these rumors? And they should have talked things out. They should have squashed the beef right then and there. Shit would have been aired out, and everything would have smoothed over. There's no reason why CM Punk should have gone on the media scrum to bash the Young Bucks, when in reality, these rumors were just that, rumors. How does CM Punk know 100% that the Young Bucks would go and spread rumors that he got Colt Cabana fired, or he tried to get Colt Cabana fired? How does he know? Did he talk to Tony Khan? Did he talk to fucking Colt Cabana? Did he talk to Omega? Did he talk to the Bucks? How the fuck does he know? He is basing his argument off of his fucking feelings. Again, it goes back to what I said. The fucking liberal media and the fucking liberal celebrity field, it needs to be completely fucking eradicated. You need to look at the facts and not operate with your fucking feelings. And all the facts prove to you that these rumors are just that. It's rumors from dirt sheets trying to start up drama. And clearly it fucking worked. Punk should have not gone out of his way to talk about the Young Bucks in that matter on the media scrum. Now let's talk about Omega and the Young Bucks. Some people are on their side. A lot of people are on their side. I don't understand why. People need to understand that if they would have been professional and they would have not done what they did, then yes, a lot of people would be on their side, and I would be on their side too. Now, did they storm into Punk's locker room? No. That was debunked. That wasn't true. But after Punk had finished eating some pastries, which was kind of like his dinner, that kind of counted as his dinner on the media screen, he went back to the locker room. Fightful Select and Wrestling Observer and various other sources reported that Omega and the Bucks stormed into Punk's locker room, which was then proven to be false, and a fight broke out. Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer confirmed that this was 100% not a work. It is unclear who threw the first punch, but Wrestling Observer reported that Punk was allegedly swinging fists at Matt Jackson. Ace Steel even became involved. He was in the vicinity with his wife, and they were actually watching Punk's dog Larry. Ace reportedly threw a chair at Nick Jackson, and it hit him in the eye. He then grabbed Omega after Omega jumped in. He bit Omega. Yes, you would think that fucking Larry was involved in the fucking fight. He legitimately bit Omega and pulled his hair. And Fightful reported that Ace Steel will not be brought back in the company after this incident, and there was an incredible amount of heat on him, rightfully so. Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer even talked about how there could be pending legal issues based on what happened. It is not a work at all. Punk was even said to be injured. Punk may have torn a tricep. Punk is said to have torn a tricep. He's injured. They continued, did Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer. They said that no one is talking about it as we speak since there are legal issues on the way. The locker room is completely divided, with the majority against Punk and believing his actions were very unprofessional, rightfully so. Now, before we get into this whole incident, let's talk about the Young Bucks. Young Bucks and Omega, they clearly did not storm into CM Punk's locker room. They didn't. They didn't. However, regardless of whether they stormed into Punk's locker room or not, the fact of the matter is that an incident broke out. Now, if there was no incident that broke out and they did not swing and Punk was the one that swung and the other three were in the vicinity range and they were trying to break up the fight, then I would understand that. That I would understand. But I don't understand how anyone could be on their side when they were involved in the brawl. They chose to get involved in a brawl and they got confrontational. I'm not sure how they approached CM Punk, but it's clear as day, regardless of whether they didn't storm into Punk's locker room or not, they did not conduct themselves with professionalism. They didn't. And after what happened with the Punk Hangman incident, when Punk made that comment on Hangman during the promo build with Jon Moxley, the Bucks should have talked to Punk right then and there. I'm going to bet my life that they didn't. I'll bet my life that they didn't. And now we got this. Ace Steel, he is as good as gone. I would be shocked if Ace Steel is punished any other way other than termination. Ace Steel is gone. I'm sorry. You do not jump in on a fight, regardless of whether or not you're friends with the biggest star in the company. You don't fucking jump into a fight and start biting and pulling the hair of what was perhaps the biggest draw outside of Punk and Moxley, and then the best AEW World Champion to date. You don't start jeopardizing the career and the safety and health of one of the biggest stars in the fucking company. You don't start pulling his hair. You don't start fucking biting. Why did he get involved? What reason did Ace Steel have to get involved? Ace Steel was probably pressured by CM Punk because CM Punk pretty much said in the rant on the media scrum, you're either with me or against me. I want friends that are going to catch me if I fall. So probably Ace Steel was in a tough spot. But did it really have to come to that? Now he's fired. He's as good as fired. Ace Steel is as good as gone, and rightfully so. Ace Steel should not have gotten involved in this incident. And the Bucks and Omega, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what you feel about them. Doesn't matter what you feel about them. The Bucks and Omega could have easily avoided this. They could have waited it out, and talked to Punk at a later date, talk things out with Phil at a later date, and who knows, maybe they would still be the Trios champions. Maybe Nick Jackson wouldn't have gotten a chair thrown in his face. Now, that does not justify Ace Steel, but I'm just saying. Also, it kind of justifies what Punk said. Now, nothing Punk said was justified, but it kind of makes what Punk said look a little bit true. And if this is how EVPs are going to conduct themselves, then you know what? They should be stripped of their fucking titles. Both as Trios champions and EVPs. Now we have pending legal issues based on what happened. It's not a work. Every single individual is in the wrong. Now, Hangman Page, he could be looked at as the guy that started all of this, but in the end, he has absolutely nothing to do with it. What Hangman did seems like a distant fucking memory. That doesn't justify his actions and what he said in the promo, which was not approved by Punk, but still. And there's one common denominator with all of this. The one common denominator is Tony Khan. I've said this numerous amounts of times. Tony Khan is taking on way too many responsibilities. This, clear as day, was not a work. This, clear as day, was not a storyline. Punk is legit injured. Ace Steel is as good as fired. Omega and the Bucks have been stripped of their championships, as has Punk, which was the absolute right thing to do. Tony Khan was the common denominator in all of this. I love Tony Khan, and I love what he's done. Tony Khan has made AEW into the best wrestling promotion on the planet. And for the last 3 years, things have been on fire. However, the summer of 2022 could be looked at as the first real down period for AEW. AEW's never really had a down period. People want to go online and they want to say, oh, AEW sucks, oh, AEW's gone lame, they'll never reach the hype that it got when it first came about. All these fucking retards. I mean, they just look to shit on things for the sake of shitting on things. There is no way in hell AEW got stale after, 6 months on the air? It didn't get stale during the pandemic. The pandemic did have an effect on it, but Tony Khan put as much effort into it as possible. We had Punk and Bryan and Ruby Soho, Adam Cole coming in last summer. It seems as though after Double or Nothing ended, things just went up in smoke. People were going down with injury after injury. We had all this backstage drama. The shows were crammed and there was too much happening on the shows. Tony Khan is taking on too many responsibilities. I love Tony Khan. I respect the hell out of him. He has made professional wrestling great when we haven't had great pro wrestling ever since Vince and Bruce, they took over NXT and they destroyed it. But at the end of the fucking day, Tony Khan, he has taken on too many responsibilities and he has neglected the things that need to be focused on. Tony Khan, as soon as that Adam Page and CM Punk incident happened, Tony Khan should have been all over that. Tony Khan should have been all over that. That way, CM Punk wouldn't have done what he did in the promo 3 months later on Dynamite, which was childish in its own right. It was fucking juvenile. He acted like a fucking pissed off teenager that got his lunch money stolen from him. Tony Khan, even before the Adam Page incident, even before all of this took place, Tony Khan should have been reviewing and going over the promos and segments with every single one of the individuals that are cutting these big promos and segments. I'm not saying he needs to talk to everyone, but I mean CM Punk, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Adam Page. They should be the top 5. They should be the top 5, along with Jericho, Moxley, and Bryan. Top 8. Those 8 individuals should be the top 8 individuals that Tony Khan should have pure, undisclosed communication with at all times, because they are the 8 biggest stars that the company has as we fucking speak. There is no fucking reason why Tony Khan should be neglecting communication between those major fucking stars. Those are the stars that are making him the most fucking money in the company. No reason why Tony Khan should be neglecting communication and just brushing things off. And one of the main reasons is he's taking on too many responsibilities. Tony Khan, whether it is now, whether it's X amount of weeks down the line, whether it's after Grand Slam, Tony Khan needs to assemble a developmental team. He needs to assemble a business team and a creative team. He needs to put certain people in charge of Dark, Elevation, Rampage, the women's division. He needs to bring in Maria Kanellis, put her in charge of the women's division, put Sanjay Dutt in charge of Dark and Dark Elevation, put William Regal in charge of Ring of Honor and Rampage. That way, he has a lot more free time to communicate with his employees to make sure that everyone is on a level-headed playing field. There's no fucking reason why Tony Khan should not have been overseeing that Adam Page and CM Punk promo. Before they went out, Page, Punk, and Tony Khan should have all sat down together and they should have talked about that promo segment on the final Dynamite before Double or Nothing, and they should have dissected everything that they were going to say, so that way there would have been no fucking surprises. None. He should have talked things out with Punk. He should have gotten his point across with Punk, and he should have acted like a fucking chief executive officer. Now, what he did after the incident took place, very professional. He stripped Punk of the championship. He stripped the Elite of the Trios championships and suspended both of them. That was absolutely the correct move. And we got a great show on Wednesday and a solid episode of Rampage 2. This was perhaps the best week of AEW television in weeks. And I mean weeks. Everything flowed nicely. It didn't seem like there was any backstage drama. Everyone got the proper amount of time. They're building quite nicely towards Grand Slam. Grand Slam is looking like a big fucking show. We already got a tag team title match. We're probably going to get Moxley and Bryan for the World Championship. This is a great thing. This is a great thing. Exactly what needed to happen. Now the question is he going to maintain that going forward? Is he going to maintain that going forward? I don't know. But Tony Khan needs to start communicating more. He needs to have communication at the very least with his major stars. He needs to have communication at the very least with his champions and his major stars. There's no reason why there should be a lack of communication backstage in AEW. He needs to start acting a little more assertive rather than trying to be friends with everyone. There's no harm being done in being friends with everyone, but at the end of the day, when it's time to get fucking serious, when it's time to get down to fucking business, you gotta act like a chief executive officer. That's what we need. When the time to get serious is upon everyone, you cannot let things roll off your back. If I can get serious for an independent event in front of 200 people on a Sunday and I'm not getting paid a penny, there's no reason why all these individuals should not be getting serious. He needs someone to manage the egos, a William Regal, a Sanjay Dutt, someone along the lines of that. Someone. We need a sense of order. We need a sense of order. I'd like to hope that Punk is suspended without pay. And when he comes back, there's no way he can be a world champion again. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, seeing everything that took place over the last year, it's quite frankly depressing. It's quite frankly depressing seeing what took place over the last year with CM Punk. And after what happened in the last few weeks, it almost makes everything that Punk did, all the great things that Punk did, CM Punk's run in AEW up until All Out has been fantastic. No matter what anyone wants to say. People can say whatever the fuck they want, but at the end of the day, anyone that tells me that CM Punk's reign in AEW has been lackluster is a fucking retard. Punk has had an excellent run in AEW up until this point, and it almost makes everything that he did, what he said and what he did, almost makes everything that happened seem worthless. Great match with Darby Allin, with Hangman Page, with Jon Moxley, with Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, Dustin Rhodes, Penta, Dax Harwood, Eddie Kingston, his world title win over Hangman Adam Page, that great feud with MJF, which will probably go down as the best feud of the year. It's sad to think, but it almost means nothing. Everything that happened, his great return, the greatest return of the modern era for pro wrestling was CM Punk. I remember that moment like it was yesterday on Rampage, The First Dance, and the crowd fucking exploded. Absolutely fucking exploded for CM Punk. It's almost like it all means nothing. Now Punk's injured. Punk has been vilified by fucking everyone. His unprofessionalism has been felt. The locker room is fucking divided. And after everything that he did, that tweet about Sasha and Naomi, and all the shit that he said about working with the younger talent and wanting to, be back in a scenario where he's happy and he's looking to branch out, really bring everyone together and all this other stuff. It's all bullshit. He looks like the biggest fucking hypocrite on the planet. It's quite frankly depressing. If Tony Khan wants to salvage whatever value Punk has left, when Punk comes back, he needs to be a heel. He needs to be a heel, and he can never win another championship again. Tony Khan needs to put his foot down. He's going to have to be an undercard heel. He's going to have to be an undercard heel, and that's it. There's really nothing left. There's really nothing left. CM Punk may very well have ruined the rest of his AEW run. He should not be seen on AEW TV until next year. He should be suspended without pay. I hope he is. The Elite, I'd like to hope that they'll learn their lesson too. And I'd like to hope that when they get back, William Regal will give him a fucking slap, just like he slapped Moxley and Bryan back at Revolution. Tony Khan should put William Regal as the man to manage the egos. Ace Steel is fired. But above all else, communication is key. Communication, order, and professionalism. Those are the three words, the three ideologies, and the three methods that Tony Khan needs to use to get shit under control. After the disaster that was the media scrum, he did a good job Great job with handling the suspensions, stripping them of the championships. Great job building up Grand Slam. We got a fantastic episode of Dynamite this week and a solid Rampage. And it looks like things are starting to get back on the right fucking track. It looks like things are starting to get back on the right track. Will they stay that way? We'll have to wait and see. But Tony Khan really needs to start acting like a chief executive officer sooner rather than later. And I'd like to hope that now he is. Put together a team and do it ASAP. Paige, Steele, Matt, Nick, Omega, Punk, Tony Khan, all of them were in the wrong. With all the incidents that took place, every single one of them were in the wrong. Whether it be for lack of communication, whether it be for unprofessionalism, whether it be for just letting things slide, whatever it may be. What happened was an embarrassment. And I'd like to hope that now after that embarrassing turn of events, I'd like to hope that now Tony Khan is starting to get shit back on the right track. I needed to let that out. I have been holding that in since Sunday. If any more news comes out, I will be sure to update you on it. But right now, we are going to get into the weekly show reviews. We're going to go over 4 weekly shows. I appreciate every single one of you sticking by me. I hope you guys enjoyed that rant, and I hope I shed some light on everything going on with all of the drama in AEW. And I'd like to hope that everyone understands that no one should be taking sides. This is not a work, and shit needs to be done. And people backstage in AEW, more specifically Tony Khan, they need to get shit under control. Thank you all. Thank you all for hanging around. Hope you guys are having a good time. How you doing, Jeff? Earl Cole and DJ Sums have also joined the chat. Hope you guys are doing mighty fine. One more time, people, if you're watching on my channel, please make sure that you like the video on my channel and then go over to the Hardcore Sports channel and like the video over on the Hardcore Sports channel. We got ourselves 4 weekly shows to go over, and we're going to get into it right now. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw, which was probably the worst Monday Night Raw under the Triple H era. So, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if it was because Triple H needed to calm everyone down after a huge fucking weekend. I'm not sure if Triple H took the day off. I'm not sure if he knew it was Labor Day and no one was really watching. I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but a very, very lackluster Monday Night Raw. We did have some good material on the show, but overall it was very, very, very lackluster. Edge kicked off the show. This was probably the best thing on the show. Edge kicked off the show. He called out Dominic Mysterio. He talked about how he knew Dominic since he was 5 and he stayed at his home whenever they toured in San Diego. I was the one that calmed you down before your first match in front of a live audience. He asked what was going on. Was it because I speared you? It was an accident and I apologized. My gut told me to worry, but my heart overrode it. I came back to help because I felt Judgment Day was my fault. But after Saturday, I am a different beast. I am looking at you not as family, but as a WWE superstar. Get down here, and we're not going to talk. I'm going to beat your ass, said Edge. So, out came Rey Mysterio. Rey asked to hear him out. He talked about how his son messed up big, but he's asking for an apology on his behalf because he is still my son, said Rey. Edge said, listen, your son is old enough to drink, your son is old enough to drive, your son is old enough to wrestle, and your son is old enough to stand for his actions. Rhea Ripley then came out and she told Edge to calm down and said, Edge got what was coming to him, and Dominic is not Ray's baby boy anymore. She saw the potential in him and made him into a man. So Dominic Mysterio then came out wearing all black. He was wearing all black. His hair was slicked back. He was stone-faced. He looked great. Dominic looked fucking great. This is the first time I actually seen Dominic in a stone-faced, serious character look. He wasn't smiling. He was wearing all black. I think he was wearing a Rolex, too. He looked great. He looked like he was doing his best Damian Priest impersonation. So he looked great. Rhea then said, Ray, you can't fight his battles for him. And Edge, you can't stop your Judgment Day. So they walked down to the ring. Ray tried to walk up to Dominic and talk some sense into him. Ray got angry because Dominic would not look at him in the face. So this was great. Ray then walked away. All of a sudden, Edge was standing his ground. Balor and Priest came out to help. Edge tried to fight back. Dominic hit a low blow on, not a low blow. He chopped out the knee of Edge. Dominic chopped out the knee of Edge. Ray then came out again. Dominic threw Ray back. Ray tried to get by. He threw Ray back, did Dominic. And Rhea Ripley blasted him in the back of the head with a forearm. Ray was then sent into the steps, and Priest delivered a South of Heaven to Edge. Dominic then gave Balor a chair. He wrapped it around Edge's knee, and he delivered a coup de grace to the chair, and Edge's knee got crushed. Judgment Day then left with Dominic, and Dominic continued to maintain this stone-faced look. This was great. This was probably the best thing on Raw in terms of a segment and storyline standpoint. Whatever they're doing, let me tell you something. I said that this was not a good move. I did not see anything coming out of this. I did not see anything good, anything interesting coming out of this. But the way that they are playing this out, it's coming off very, very good. Really, it is. Now, I'm not sure what this is leading to, but could we see Dominic and Rey Mysterio be fighting in a match at some point where Dominic inevitably retires his father? I don't know. That's definitely something that we're going to have to keep our eye on. That's definitely a route that they could take. But whatever they did here was pretty damn fucking good. And I'm liking the vibe of Dominic. Dominic, he's wearing the Judgment Day attire. And Judgment Day, they look pretty damn good. They look pretty damn good together. I'm liking the vibe of Judgment Day. So if they can keep this up, I got no issue with it. So from there, we go into a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match. It's New Day, Street Profits, Alpha Academy, and Los Lotharios. People are wondering why the Viking Raiders are not mixed in with this. I was kind of wondering the same thing, but I kind of know why they didn't add the Viking Raiders into it, but it kind of looked fucking stupid. They didn't add the Viking Raiders into it because Triple H is not pushing the Viking Raiders to the tag team titles just yet. If the Viking Raiders were to be involved in this match, then realistically, they would have to win this match. Realistically, they would have to win this match, and realistically, they'd have to beat the Usos. But that's not happening. You're not going to do heel versus heel. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are the individuals to beat the Usos. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are the ones. And then afterwards, maybe the Viking Raiders will probably beat them. But that's why the Viking Raiders weren't involved in this, because Triple H is not looking to overexpose them and push them too quickly. So I actually had the Alpha Academy winning this, but we all saw what this was in the end. So what we got here, for the 15 minutes that it went, was actually a pretty good match. I will say that. But ultimately, it meant nothing, which kind of pissed me off. We're going to talk about why it meant nothing in a little bit. So Angel tagged in Kofi, and the New Day actually looked like the smartest team in the entire match. The New Day, they were going one-on-one because they could tag in anybody. So the New Day got tagged in, and Xavier Woods laid down with Kofi trying to pin Xavier Woods so that way they could get the easy win in the tag team title match. So the New Day actually looked like intelligent individuals there. Lo and behold. So this resulted in a big brawl. We had a double tope con hero by Kofi and Woods, all the way onto the pile of bodies. Coming back from commercial, Dawkins then got the tag, hit a stinger splash on Gable. Kofi, he got pounced over the top rope onto the pile. Dawkins with a tope con hero onto the pile. We had a pounce into a back suplex combination by Dawkins and Ford on Gable. Otis saved it. Angel came in. Woods was isolated by Angel and Ford. Then we had a Mega Tower of Doom spot, a double suplex to Woods, moonsault by Humberto, boots to the face, into a German suplex by Chad Gable. Otis then with a middle rope splash to Montez Ford. Kofi with a double stomp to save it. So that was a very nice sequence right there. So coming back from a second commercial, Ford was able to body slam Otis. Yes, he got Otis up in the body slam. Gable then made the tag. Los Lotharios with moonsaults onto the piles. All of a sudden, we had a frog splash to Otis. Chad Gable locked in an ankle lock. And I thought that the Alpha Academy were going to take it right here. All of a sudden, Braun Strowman's music hits. Yes, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's music hits. He walks down to the ring wearing bright red pants. I will say this, like I said while we were talking about Strowman during the news, rumors, and reports, Braun Strowman has gotten himself into the best shape of his life, and I will give him credit for that. Credit where credit's due. Strowman, this is the best that Strowman has ever looked. Now, after that, everything just went to shit. Strowman, he just wrecked everyone. He choke slammed Angel Garza. He then tackled Otis. Security came out. He powerbombed one security member. He then, this was probably the worst thing about it all. So Strowman, he did this. He went to do the Strowman Express signal. He started running around the ring, and I'm not sure what the fuck happened. I'm not sure if he tripped over his own 2 feet. I'm not sure if he fucking slipped on sweat on the outside. Strowman slipped. He had his own Titus O'Neil moment. I thought he was going to go sliding right into the fucking barricade. He fucking slipped. He fell forward and then got up and took about 3 steps before he pounced Otis through the barricade. I was laughing my ass off for about 6 minutes. I could not contain my fucking laughter. I don't know what the fuck happened, but if that is not a sign of things to come with Braun Strowman now returning to the WWE, if that is not a sign of what his run is going to be like, I don't know what the fuck is. He fucking slipped, and I thought he was going to fall right into the fucking abyss. He fucking just disappeared. They had the camera panning back, and all you see was Braun Strowman. He slipped, and he went down underneath the barricade. He just fucking disappeared. Unbelievable. So then he power slammed Ford through the table. He then delivered a running power slam to Gable, and that was it. This was fucking terrible. This was fucking terrible. He completely demolished the entire tag team division. I don't even know why the fuck you booked this match here. I don't know why the fuck you booked this match here if he was going to inevitably come out and destroy everyone in the match. You see what you did on SmackDown with Chad Gable and Otis? Why didn't you just do that on Raw? Why did we need to have a fatal 4-way #1 contenders match that ultimately resulted in nothing? It resulted in nothing but Braun Strowman destroying everyone. What we should have gotten is the Street Profits versus Los Lotharios in a tag team match, 2-on-2, with no #1 contendership on the line. Los Lotharios should have gotten the win there, and then Strowman should have debuted in a segment with Otis and Gable, just like he did on SmackDown. This was terrible. They buried the entire tag team division for nothing. Triple H, we always want him to rejuvenate the tag team division. Not a very good look. Not a very good look to have Braun Strowman just come out and destroy 4 teams. So much so that even Vince Russo, and Vince Russo is a WWE cocksucker right down to the very last letter. He even trashed what they did here. He was right. Lo and behold, Vince Russo actually said something fucking intelligent. Fucking retard said something smart. We had Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. They took on Nikki Ass and Doudrop. I'm still wondering why Aaliyah and Raquel even won the women's tag team titles if they lose next week. If they lose next week to Damage Control, I'm not even sure why they even bothered giving them the women's tag team titles for what, 2 weeks? Makes no fucking sense. So regardless of how you look at it, it's a complete waste of time that they even won the tag team titles. So Aaliyah started things off. She got swung into the turnbuckle. We had a Samoan drop neckbreaker combo by Nikki and Doudrop for a 2. Raquel was able to save it. Tag to Raquel. She lit up Nikki with a fallaway slam. She then elbowed Doudrop. We had a running senton by Doudrop. Aaliyah then took out Nikki with a spear. Raquel then delivered a Tahana bomb to Doudrop, which was very impressive. And that was it. This was very quick. The champs won. I will say this. The one positive about this, I will say, I respect the fact, and I very much appreciate the fact from Triple H that champions are not losing in non-title matches on TV. Even if they are champions as worthless as the women's tag team champions, I appreciate the fact that Triple H is booking them somewhat strong. That is as much as I will say. Other than that, this was a complete waste of time. Theory came out. Austin Theory. He has his first name back. Austin Theory came out to address the crowd. The crowd booed him heavily. He pointed out how he's still Mr. Money in the Bank. And when I get knocked down, I get back up. I'm actually glad Roman is still champion because me and Roman still have some unfinished business. Obviously, he was selling his jaw from when he got knocked out by Tyson Fury's punch. All of a sudden, Kevin Owens comes out and he asked, "What's wrong with your jaw?" "Oh yeah, you got knocked the hell out. You got KO'd. You see what I did there?" He also said, "Oh, you also found your first name again." So Kevin Owens was being sarcastic as ever. He goes, "I despise arrogant people and delusional people." He says, "You are at the very top of that list. Tyson Fury did you a favor because if you cashed in, you would have failed." Theory then called Owens jealous, and he says he was already a champion and he's going to become he became Mr. Money in the Bank, unlike Kevin Owens. Owens then pointed out that he would have beaten Roman's title reign 6 months in had it not been for Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. And you're only Mr. Money in the Bank because I wasn't in the match. Owens then said, or Theory then said, Owens is just trying to stay relevant. Owens then said, "That's why I'm Kevin Owens." Owens then predicted that a referee would come out and slide into the ring, which he did, and we get ourselves a match between Austin Theory and Kevin Owens. And this was probably the best in-ring portion of the show. This was an excellent, excellent match. So Kevin Owens and his promo game with Austin Theory. Austin Theory going on about how he's a champion and how he became Mr. Money in the Bank, unlike Kevin Owens. I like the cockiness in Theory. And Owens, the promos that Owens has been cutting, this is exactly the Kevin Owens that we need. Focused, determined, and for the love of God, Triple H has been listening to me. He's a babyface. I said it once, I'll say it again. Owens needed to be a babyface, and now he's a babyface. And look, one of the most over acts on TV. Exactly where he needs to be. So Owens brought the fight to Theory early on. Owens then, with a frog splash off the apron to the floor onto Theory. Coming back from commercial, Theory with a drop kick for a 2. He tried to wear down Kevin Owens. Owens came back with a clothesline and a senton off the apron, but Theory got the knees up. Coming back from a second commercial, Owens then with a senton bomb for a 2. Theory with a torture rack power bomb. That got a 2 count too. Super kick by Owens. Theory then sent Owens into the ring post. He then bashed him head first off the steps, which looked brutal. The ref then counted, but Owens just barely beat the count. Theory with a cross-legged knee drop brainbuster for a 2. Both men were on the top rope. We had an avalanche fisherman suplex off the top, power bomb by Owens, pop-up power bomb, and then a stunner, and Owens gets the win. I'm glad that Owens is continuing to win. Could Owens be the next guy in line to fight Roman Reigns? We'll have to wait and see. Should be a great match if that's the case, but I actually do believe that him and Sami are going to inevitably take those titles from the Usos. Damage Control, the name of Bayley's new group. They got new theme music. They got a name, which was pretty damn good. They came out to cut a promo. Bayley talked about how they beat Asuka, Bianca, and Bliss. Kai then said they will take control. Io said that they will take the women's tag team titles next week. Kai told everyone that she was not the legal woman before Bianca came out. She talked about how she showed up tonight and she wanted a match with Bayley tonight. Bayley said, well, you know, it's Labor Day and I'm not working. Bianca then said, you might have your minions, but I got this. She then held up the women's title and she said, unless you got this, you're in control of nothing. They then surrounded Bianca, but they did not attack. Bayley then said Bianca is a fragile girl, and your challenge to me is you trying to make it seem like what happened to you was a fluke. But if and when I want that title, I will get it one way or another. So it seems like Extreme Rules is all but confirmed. And it seems as though we will indeed see Bianca and Bayley for the Raw Women's title at Extreme Rules, in which I do believe that Bayley will be taking that championship from Bianca, because at the end of the day, Triple H wants to do Bayley and Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, with Sasha coming back to win the Rumble. I do believe that we will get a Women's War Games, and we will inevitably see Bayley and Sasha Banks team up along with Naomi, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Next week's a big week for Raw because Johnny Gargano will be making his in-ring debut on Raw, and it looks like Johnny Gargano will be going into a program with Austin Theory going into Extreme Rules, which I have no problem with at all. Rey Mysterio, he took on Damian Priest. This was a pretty solid match right here between these two. Priest was toying with Rey early on. Rey hit a nice springboard crossbody for a 2. Rey then came back with a wrecking ball dropkick. Judgment Day, they walked down the ramp, and they came into Damian Priest's corner. Coming back from commercial, we had Rey Mysterio trying to mount the comeback. We had a big Tope Con Hero on Priest. We had a nice seated senton and a moonsault for a 2. We had a tornado DDT by Rey. Rey then with a Hurricane Rana off the second rope for a 2. 619 missed. Damian Priest with a spin kick. Dominic then stood on the apron and stared down Rey. Priest then struck Rey and delivered South of Heaven for the win. And afterwards, Rhea Ripley said that Dominic is setting out the challenge to go one-on-one with Edge. So next week, we got Dominic Mysterio versus Edge, and we also got Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez versus Damage Control for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And in the end, I do believe that Damage Control will win, and Aaliyah and Raquel winning the titles for 2 weeks is ultimately going to seem worthless. And in the main event, we had Bobby Lashley versus The Miz, steel cage match for the United States Championship. Really nothing overbearing. It wasn't bad. It was a decent match, but there was 2 reasons behind this match. Number 1 was Dexter Lumis, and number 2 was the fact that they want to make the United States Championship feel like the most important title on Raw. And Bobby Lashley, I will say, Bobby Lashley's doing a great job with the United States Championship. I do not see him losing that championship anytime soon. So Miz, he hit Lashley with the U.S. title before the match even began, and him and Ciampa attacked Lashley with a steel chair and then the steel steps. So the match got started. Lashley was kicked by The Miz. We had a roundhouse kick for a 2. Lashley came back with a nice belly-to-belly. We had a neck breaker by Lashley. Miz was then sent into the cage 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So Bobby was using the cage. Bobby then hit a flatliner. The Miz was trying to dribble off the cage. He looked like he was going to win. Miz and Lashley were on the top rope. Miz was then knocked down. Ciampa then grabbed the chair and tried to prevent Lashley from escaping the cage. Miz hit a running knee, and that got a 2 count. Coming back from a second commercial, Lashley tossed Miz into the cage once again. Both men were on the top rope. Lashley with a superplex, which connected perfectly. Lashley was then sent headfirst into the steel cage. Miz with the skull-crushing finale, but Bobby Lashley kicked out. Miz then crawled for the door, but Lashley dragged him back in. Ciampa tried to close the door on Lashley's head, but Lashley caught it and then slammed it right back into Ciampa's head. Miz then slammed the cage door on Lashley's head over and over and over again. Miz went up to the top and he tried to climb out. All of a sudden, as he was climbing down, Dexter Lumis peeks his head and torso out from underneath the ring, stares up at the Miz. He stares up at the Miz. Miz is in fucking shock. He has to climb back into the ring as Lumis is getting up, and then Lashley hits the spear. He retains the title. Lumis then entered the cage. Miz tried to crawl for the door, but Lashley shut the door as Miz was choked out by Dexter Lumis with the silence. And then this was one of the funniest things about the show, minus Braun Strowman slipping on his own 2 feet. Miz was held by Lashley Lumis, and Lumis held his head and just lightly grazed his hair. Don't know why, don't know what this is leading to, but I thought that was fucking hilarious. Realistically, nothing outside of Kevin Owens and Judgment Day that's really going to pique anyone's interest. A very lackluster Monday Night Raw, which I was expecting to happen. It's not like every single Monday Night Raw is going to be a grand slam, out of the park Monday Night Raw, but we did get a few decent material, and the build towards Extreme Rules has begun. It looks like we are indeed getting Bayley and Bianca in a Raw Women's title match. We could be getting Braun Strowman in action. We're going to get Lashley defending the U.S. Championship against someone, perhaps. We're probably going to get The Miz versus Dexter Lumis, and Dexter Lumis is going to be a mainstay on the show. We're probably going to get Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. So that's what's going on Monday Night Raw's side of things. Hope you guys are having a good time. Let's talk about AEW Dark for just a little bit. Now, I did not review the entire AEW Dark show, but I wanted to cover this one match. We had Claudio Castagnoli defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Ari Daivari. And this was actually a decent little match right here. Really nothing memorable, but I will say I do appreciate the fact that Tony Khan is using Claudio Castagnoli. He's having him defend the Ring of Honor World Championship, and he's not just having him sit around until the Ring of Honor deal is back. So Claudio, he was in control early before Daivari targeted the knee. Claudio then came back with a giant swing. Daivari continued to target the knee. We had a nice cross body for a 2. Claudio mounted a comeback on Daivari, but Daivari shut it down pretty quickly. We had a scenario where Daivari actually sent Claudio face first into the post, and then he hit the Persian Lion Splash for a 2. Claudio then with a discus lariat, a big uppercut barrage over and over again, and then a pop-up uppercut, and then Claudio finished him off with the Ricola Bomb for the 1, 2, 3 victory. Nothing memorable at all. But Claudio is continuing to defend the Ring of Honor World Championship, which I'm happy about because, again, you can't have him just sit around and not do nothing until the Ring of Honor deal is ready. And that was pretty much that. So, Dark, we had the Ring of Honor World title match, and then we had another Ring of Honor World title match on Rampage, which we will go over. But first things first, we are going to go over AEW Dynamite, which was a fantastic show from start to finish. Once again, guys, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you are liking the video. Liking the video when you come on in. Please make sure you are sharing the video out on all platforms of social media. Please make sure that if you're watching on my channel, hit the like button. Hit the like button and then go over to the Hardcore Sports channel. Hit the like button over on the Hardcore Sports channel because we got 3 more shows to go over before we get on out of here. Dynamite. Dynamite was an excellent show from start to finish. Dynamite really felt like it had that year one passion. A lot of people were comparing this Dynamite to a Dynamite that legit just came about. The year one passion that everyone was talking about. So, Tony Khan, he addressed that the AEW World and the AEW World Trios Championships have been vacated, rightfully so, after the embarrassment that took place at the media scrum. New Trios champions will be crowned tonight between Best Friends Orange Cassidy and Death Triangle. And then we got a tournament of champions to crown a new world champion at Grand Slam, which was absolutely the right call. Very happy that they did that. And it looks like that we are getting a little bit of a reset. We're getting a little bit of a reset for AEW. Now, MJF kicked off the show to a thunderous fucking pop. He was hugging Taz. He was embracing the fan love. He was wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey. He said, "The devil is back. Who's excited to see MJF?" I might have said some offensive stuff, but we can all agree I was just kidding. So MJF was trying to kiss up to the crowd. He was chanting AEW. He said, "I didn't mean to call you stupid marks." He then trashed some fat bitch in the crowd, and then he said, "Don't worry, honey, you're gorgeous. We'll meet after the show," which they did not. He then addressed the tournament. He's not doing it because he's got the chip for a world title shot at any time. We need leadership, and I can't think of one person more trustworthy. He then told the story of Moses, and then he said, "I'm better than Moses because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you." And then he put the mic up to the crowd, and the crowd said, "And you know it." I was not for an MJF babyface run. I'm not sure if that's even possible, but I will say this. MJF carried himself brilliantly as a babyface. And I am slightly more open to seeing him be a babyface in the future. Not now. Not now. Clear as day. Clear as day. But, I will say this. MJF, if he's able to continue to do this and he's able to get that type of babyface reaction at any point in time, it really does go to show you how talented he really is. So that's something that you got to give MJF. So we had Jon Moxley then came out. Jon Moxley came out to Wild Thing, of course. Wild Thing, you make my heart sing. The crowd singing along with his theme song. Jon Moxley then got into the ring, and he said to MJF, "You are absolutely full of crap." MJF then trashed the Buffalo Bills like a fucking dick. I was laughing my ass off here. He then said Josh Allen sucks, and then he goes, "Maybe I don't care about these people. Maybe I look at the world title as nothing more than a bargaining chip for the war in 2024. Maybe I'll take it to a real wrestling company with real wrestlers like the American roller coaster, Cody Rhodes, and I get to work for jolly good old Saint Nick." You see what he did? If you were not paying attention to him on Twitter, he was taking pictures with Peter Rosenberg, who's a WWE cocksucker right down to the very last letter. And then when the Usos and Sami Zayn came out to induct Solo Sikoa into the bloodline, he tweeted out a pointer finger to the sky emoji. MJF is a fucking douchebag, and I love it. So all of a sudden, he then says, to quote my personal hero, The Game, that's what's best for business. Moxley then told MJF he is in no mood, so leave or I will make you. So they teased going at it before MJF inevitably left. Moxley stayed in the ring, and as MJF was walking to the back, he said that your music sucks. He then said he wants the AEW World title because it represents passion. The heroes during the pandemic, we want to show the world that we are just what wrestling could be. It represents the freedom to be better than you were the day before. It represents everything I love about this business. The crowd then chanted for Moxley. He said, I want the ball, and I'm going to take the shot. This is the time to be a legend. This entire segment was flawless. From the start to the finish. This entire segment with MJF, him going babyface only to pull a complete 180, and then Moxley coming out and just igniting that flame, igniting that fire among everyone. This is exactly what we need. It is a great thing to see. It is a great thing to hear. And Jon Moxley now, as a forefront leader, as that locker room leader, along with Jericho and Bryan that we need, this is going to give everyone else a sense of rejuvenation. This is exactly what we need. And this is that reset that a lot of people were talking about. This was an excellent promo. And then from there, we actually go into an excellent trios match. I actually thought that the best friends in Orange Cassidy were going to win this, but that was not the case. And I can't really complain about Death Triangle winning this, and we're going to talk about it. But first things first, let's go over what happened in the match. So Cassidy and Penta had a nice back and forth. Cassidy then got launched onto Death Triangle on the floor. Coming back from commercial, Trent was then isolated. Trent with a double stomp. Hot tag to Cassidy. We had a double Hurricane Rana to the Lucha Bros before Pac shut him down very quickly. He cut down Orange Cassidy before Danhausen. He came out and he cursed Alex Abrahantes. And then he punched him in the balls. He cursed Alex Abrahantes. Alex Abrahantes did his Zero Miedo. And then he punched Alex Abrahantes in the balls, which was great. Absolutely great. So after that, we had a suicide dive by Cassidy on Pac. We had a satellite DDT after a diving crossbody, and then a stun dog millionaire. And then we had a tag to Chuck. Chuck made the tag, and Chuck and the best friends, they got involved. He took out Phoenix. He actually tossed Phoenix into Penta. And then we had Penta delivering a backstabber to Chuck. Chuck and Trent inevitably took over. They hit the Soul Food half and half combo. Tornado DDT by Trent to Phoenix. We had a cutter by Phoenix, a big knee by Chuck, punt kick by Pac, maiden Penta on Cassidy, and then a running knee by Trent. We had super kicks into a code red. Trent kicked out. We had an orange punch by Cassidy. Then we had triple Canadian destroyers. This was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Triple Canadian destroyers by Death Triangle. Lucha Bros hit the fear factor. Penta and Phoenix then dove onto the outside, onto Cassidy and Trent. We had a black arrow by Pac onto Chuck Taylor. And then the Death Triangle won the Trios Championships with Pac pinning Chuck Taylor. This was an excellent match. I had Cassidy and the Best Friends winning, but I can't complain about Death Triangle for two specific reasons. Number one, the Lucha Bros got gypped out of their tag team title reign. They had to drop the championships in that match with Jurassic Express because Rey Fenix got injured. They really had no choice but to drop the championships because Rey Fenix, he got injured. So they couldn't really do too much. He got injured, so Jurassic Express needed to win the championships. Now, after that, now that the Trios Championships came about, this is a great opportunity to have a reset for the Lucha Bros. Plus, Pac He's already the All-Atlantic champion. Pac, after all the dues that he paid, since he was a day one guy for AEW, after all the dues that he paid, there is absolutely no one that deserves to be the first ever double AEW champion than Pac. No one. Pac and all the dues that he's paid, I am all for Pac holding 2 championships. And good on him. Pac right now is living his best life. He's the first ever All-Atlantic champion, and he's one half of the Trios champions. I'm loving it. Pac is on top of the world right now. So from there, we go into Penelope Ford versus Toni Storm. This was an AEW Interim World Title Eliminator match. This was really nothing more than a statement win for Toni Storm. Rather quick match. Ford and Storm did not work too bad together. We had some very technical wrestling early on. They traded headlocks. Storm then with a shotgun drop kick, a hip attack. We had a wrecking ball drop kick to the outside. Ford then took over, sending Toni Storm into the steps. Coming back from commercial, Ford with a suplex for a 2. Storm mounted a comeback with a big hip attack, and she won the match with a spike DDT. That was pretty much it. Nothing more than a statement win for Toni Storm, and that was pretty much that. So after that, we went into a segment with the Acclaimed and Swerve Strickland. Max Caster came out to do a rap, but they were interrupted by Swerve Strickland. Swerve actually called out the Acclaimed for their stupid rap jokes. And then he said, "You want to hear another joke?" The Acclaimed as tag team champions. The crowd were chanting asshole at him. The crowd was chanting asshole at him, which was a great thing to see. And this is one thing that I really love, because this sets up a potential heel turn for Swerve when they inevitably lose the tag team championships. Swerve can turn heel. This is a great thing. So afterwards, we had Billy Gunn interrupting Swerve, and he goes, "This ain't your house. This is Daddy Ass's house." So Bowens then took the mic and he said, "Your uncrowned champs in 2 weeks are taking home the gold because everyone loves the Acclaimed. Now scissor me, Daddy Ass." I'm telling you right now, I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm not sure how it's possible, but this partnership with Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, it's probably the most over thing on AEW TV right now. Probably the most over thing on AEW TV right now. I don't even know how that is. Billy Gunn is probably more over now than he was back then. And that's a fucking testament to how good the Acclaimed are. This was fucking crazy. And let me tell you something. Swerve, he did very good as a heel as well. I can't wait for this match because I'm going to be there live. I'm going to be there live for Grand Slam to watch this match. I can't wait for this. We could very well see new tag team champions. But if we don't see new tag team champions after FTR beats Swerve in Our Glory at Full Gear, I am abso-fucking-lutely building up the Acclaimed to fight FTR next year at Double or Nothing and win the tag team titles. That's my motive. That's what I'm going to do. Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was interviewed, and he said that this is his locker room, and he will become the champion for the 8th time. And we will also see Sammy Guevara beat Darby, and we promise to leave Garcia alone in his match with Yuta. You're going to win the pure title, but you got to do it without the Jericho Appreciation Society. So that was that, and that's just what happened. That's just what happened. So after what we got here with Jericho, we then go into Wardlow and Tony Nese. This was for the TNT Championship. Wardlow, he pretty much squashed Tony Nese, delivered a headbutt and a clothesline. Wardlow then started the Powerbomb Symphony. He delivered 3 powerbombs to retain the title. Afterwards, this was the main story of the match. After the match, Wardlow took the mic after he was about to deliver more powerbombs to Nese and Sterling. And then all of a sudden, before he could finish off the Powerbomb Symphony, Josh Woods saved Tony Nese and Sterling, Wardlow acknowledged how the people were saying that he lost it. And he says, Wardlow should do this. Wardlow should do that. I'm the TNT champion, and it's time to remind everyone in the business that this is Wardlow's world. I don't know what this means. I don't, but I like it. I like this newfound intensity from Wardlow. I really do. I think that this newfound intensity from Wardlow is definitely something that he needs. And he has no shortage of challengers for the TNT Championship. You can give me him versus Miro, give me him versus Luchasaurus, give me him versus a powerhouse Hobbs. He's got a lot of solid challengers for the TNT Championship, and I can't wait to see what he does going forward. I'm very much looking forward to seeing who he defends that championship against. So afterwards, we had Hangman Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson. This was the Tournament of Champions first round, and this was an excellent match. These two nearly went 30 minutes. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff from start to finish. So they started chopping the shit out of each other early on. We had Page gaining early control. And we had Page coming in with a fall-away slam into a slingshot Pescado. We had a Death Valley driver for a 2. We had a Hurricane Rana and a roundhouse kick by Bryan for a 2. Page then with a fall-away moonsault splash off the top rope, which looked fantastic. That got a 2. Coming back from a second commercial, we had another chop off. Page then delivered a sit-out Liger bomb to Bryan. Bryan then with a Tree of Woe drop kick and an avalanche back superplex. Page then lands on his feet. Bryan then tried to lock in the label lock. And then all of a sudden, out of it, Page was then locked in it again. Page got out. The crowd was chanting "Fight Forever." And all of a sudden, we had a rolling elbow by Bryan, a dead eye by Page. Bryan kicked out. We had a top rope moonsault miss. Bryan hit the Busaiku knee, but Page rolled out of the ring. Bryan then went for a tope suicida. Page caught him, powerbombed him on the apron, delivered an Orihara moonsault. He went for the buckshot lariat. He missed it. And Bryan with a roll-up with a bridge. And Bryan gets the win. Very, very good match. Excellent match. And it looks like Bryan Danielson could very well be the next AEW World Champion. I have no problem with this whatsoever. However, I would have actually loved to see Page get the championship again, just because I want to see the MJF Adam Page match and feud. But I'm guessing we're probably going to get that after MJF wins the world title. We'll see what happens. Stokely Hathaway and his new crew, they attacked some poor schmuck on the ramp. They all stood tall. I'm not sure what's going on there, but if they want to make this their own version of the NWO, I don't have a problem with that either. The next couple of weeks are as follows. On Rampage, we had Samoa Joe addressing the crowd, Claudio versus Dax for the Ring of Honor World title, Serena Deeb and Madison Rayne, Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin, and then next week we got Jericho versus Bryan, Moxley and Guevara, and then Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaimed at Grand Slam. We got a solid lineup for AEW. The main event was Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia. This is for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, and it was in Daniel Garcia's hometown. The crowd was booing Yuta heavily. Garcia was heavily over. They started trading strikes and holds, very evenly matched. Coming back from commercial, they started chopping each other. Garcia with a back body drop, and then all of a sudden a lariat. Yuta with some German suplexes over and over. Garcia then with the German suplexes. Yuta with the German suplexes. Garcia with the German suplexes. Back and forth over and over again. Garcia then delivered a German suplex off the middle rope. Yuta rolled over his fucking neck, which looked brutal. Coming back from a second commercial, Garcia and Yuta continued to fight, strike for strike. Garcia with the sharpshooter. It was in deep, but Yuta got to the ropes. Yuta then delivered a closed fist, and that got him one warning. Garcia then with another sharpshooter. Yuta got free, reversed it into a crossface. We had the seatbelt pin, but Garcia kicked out. Garcia then with a sharpshooter for a third time. Yuta could not hang on, and Yuta taps out to Daniel Garcia's sharpshooter, and Daniel Garcia wins the Ring of Honor Pure Championship in his hometown in what was a very good match. Bryan then came out. Yuta and Garcia shook hands, and Bryan put the Pure Championship around Garcia's waist before Jericho came out looking very, very pissed. I'm telling you, I'm really telling you, Garcia's rise to the top is a beautiful, and I mean a beautiful fucking thing to see. It really is. I fucking love the fact that they have put so much effort into Daniel Garcia. Garcia, a year ago, I didn't see anything in him. Now I'm looking at him as a fucking world champion down the line. He is that fucking good. And now that he's the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, it is a great thing to see. And I'm very, very happy that he is in a position in which he is excelling, especially since he's working with Bryan and Jericho. And I do see him joining the BCC. I do see him joining the BCC in due time. It could very well happen next week. I love it. Dynamite was excellent. Best show of the week by far. The second best show of the week was probably SmackDown. SmackDown, very solid show. We actually got a solid night of pro wrestling across both shows, both Rampage and SmackDown. We started off the show with Ridge Holland, Butch, and Sheamus taking on Imperium. And this was an excellent fucking six-man tag. This was fucking awesome from start to finish. Probably the best thing on the entire show. We had an even playing field early on. Coming back from commercial, Imperium then was in control before Ridge made the tag to Butch. He brought it to Giovanni Vinci. We had some double knees and a German suplex, roundhouse kick for a 2. Butch then locked in an armbar. Sheamus and Gunther went at it. Vinci with a nasty fucking clothesline to Butch. Coming back from a second commercial, Butch made the tag to Sheamus. He lit up Kaiser with an Irish Curse backbreaker. We had some chest beats over and over again. He was over. Sheamus inadvertently turned himself into a fucking babyface. He really did. Sheamus, this could be the best Sheamus babyface run that we've seen. This is honestly giving me flashbacks of his World Heavyweight title reign. A lot of people shit on that, but that was a damn good fucking title reign. That World title reign was awesome. He had some damn good matches with Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler and Bryan. Had some damn good fucking matches. He brought the Big Show to perhaps one of his best career matches ever. So, Sheamus, in this new babyface run, I'm loving it. He had a backbreaker to Vinci, chest beats to Kaiser. He took out both Vinci and Kaiser. He set up for the bro kick to Vinci, big slam to Kaiser, tag to Holland with a big lariat. Gunther saved it by chopping Holland in the back of the neck. All of a sudden, everyone started taking out everyone. We had a brainbuster to Butch, and then we had a boot by Gunther to Sheamus. Kaiser fell on his knee, which looked brutal, but in the end, Imperium hit the Imperium Bomb, the European Uppercut Power Bomb, and Imperium get the win, as they should, in what was an excellent fucking match. Really good stuff. And in the end, Imperium take the win. They take the win. I love it. Really solid stuff. And I cannot wait to see what happens down the line. This right here is a fight forever type feud. I am loving this. Give me Gunther and Butch or Pete Dunne. Give me a tag team match. Give me Imperium fighting for the tag team titles. I am looking forward to this. Really. So from there, we go into a segment with the Usos and Sami Zayn. Let me tell you something. I hate heel Sami Zayn. I hate heel Sami Zayn. Heel Sami Zayn sucks. But I will say this. Sami Zayn and his chemistry with the Usos and the Bloodline is phenomenal. Sami Zayn is doing some great fucking work with the Bloodline. Everything that he does with the Bloodline, I feel as though he's in competition with the Bloodline. He's in competition, and this doesn't have to do with anything that's on TV. This doesn't have to do with anything that's on TV. This has to do with backstage. I'm thoroughly convinced that Sami Zayn backstage is in competition with Jimmy and Jay to see how many times he can make them laugh on TV. I was laughing my ass off. He was fucking dancing and doing all this shit. He was dancing like he's the only one out there. So Jay hyped up Roman's win at Clash at the Castle. He said that the Bloodline runs deep. Sami said, deep AF. Jey Uso's trying not to laugh. I was laughing my ass off. I'm not sure what he meant by deep AF, dog, but I'm pretty sure some people could come up with their own interpretations of it because a lot of people have their minds in the gutter. But Jimmy brought out Solo Sikoa. He came out. Jay tried not to smile with Sami Zayn doing his dance. Solo then said that he is here to stay. And the Bloodline got bigger and better because you the twos and we the ones. Drew McIntyre then came out with a chair. Sami saved Solo Sikoa and Drew hit Zayn. Drew stood tall. There's two things that I loved about this. Number one, Zayn actually got the approval of Solo Sikoa in a backstage segment. And number two, I love how Solo Sikoa did not back down, even when Drew had a chair. This was great. I am loving what they are doing with the Bloodline, with Sami Zayn, with Solo Sikoa. Solid stuff. Real solid stuff. Raquel and Aaliyah, they took on Toxic Attraction. Aaliyah was tossed into Jane early on. This was a very, very quick match. Very, very quick match. Toxic Attraction, they did their usual offense, a running senton by JC Jane. Tag to Raquel. Raquel lit up Dolan with a fallaway slam, sidewalk slam, and a twisting Vader bomb. Aaliyah then speared Dolan, and Raquel hit the Tahana bomb, and the champions win. Once again, I appreciate the champions not losing on TV. But at the end of the day, the women's tag team division, it's non-existent. It means nothing. I am just looking for Damage Control to win the titles next week, and that will be it. Xia Li, Natalya, Sonya Deville, and Lacey Evans with Ronda Rousey. This was a fatal five-way elimination match to determine who faces Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules. And Ronda Rousey completely buried the entire division. Whatever happened here was worthless. Ronda locked in an armbar right out of the gate. Natalya tapped out. Xia Li got locked in a chokehold by Sonya and then an armbar to Lacey by Ronda Rousey, and both women tapped. Sonya and Ronda had a decent little exchange, but it ultimately ended with Ronda hitting Piper's Pit and then an ankle lock with a leg trap on Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville taps out. The entire SmackDown women's roster was buried as Liv Morgan looked on from a skybox with her title, and it's Ronda and Liv at Extreme Rules one more time. Afterwards, this was the big thing out of everything. Ronda and Shayna were in the back, and Ronda and Shayna had a little moment. Ronda said, "Let me know when you're ready to break some bones and take over the show with me." Now, first things first. Ronda won the right to face Liv Morgan. There is no way that Ronda Rousey is losing for a third time to Liv Morgan. No way that Ronda's losing for a third time to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan and her title reign is inevitably going to come to an end because she's just not a believable champion. And that does not have to do with her. That doesn't have to do with Triple H. That has to do with the fact that for a solid year, she was booked as a fucking loser. For a solid year, she was booked as a fucking loser at the hands of Vince McMahon. Now you want us to take her seriously after she got her, legitimately, she got her 4th win this year alone. She has all but 3 wins before she inevitably beats Ronda, yet we're supposed to take her seriously after she's been losing and losing and losing for months. But yet she's supposed to be a credible champion. Then she beats Ronda, and she gets booed for it because she tapped out, and she was revealed to be a fucking bullshit artist. She was revealed to be a bullshit artist, and in the end, we inevitably saw her beat Shayna Baszler. Good match. I will say that. That match had no right to be as good as it was. It wasn't a great match, but it was a solid performance. Both women worked very well together, but in the end, no one believes in Liv Morgan, and no one is going to take Liv Morgan seriously because of the damage already being done at the hands of Vince McMahon. The big thing about all this is Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey forming. Now, they could have given Shayna Baszler the title at Clash at the Castle at the hands of Liv Morgan. That is what I would have done. That's what I would have done. But it really wouldn't have had much of an impact mainly because of the fact that Liv Morgan was already a scrub. So Shayna's a scrub. Liv, her beating a scrub, doesn't really do anything for anyone. Dead plus dead equals dead. Scrub plus scrub equals scrub. So at the end of the day, Shayna teaming with Ronda winning the title, and then Shayna potentially turning on Ronda, taking the title from Ronda, that will enhance Shayna Baszler tenfold. That way, she can drop the title to Shayna at the Rumble, and then Ronda can go on to fight Becky at WrestleMania. That's inevitably what they're going for. Now, I don't care to see that match. This match is 4 years too late. But, I will say this. If this results in Ronda winning the title and then Shayna Baszler gaining some of that star power from Rousey, ultimately to turn on her and then take the title from her, I have no issue with that. I am all for that. So you can sign me up. We had the Street Profits. And Hit Row. They took on the Maximum Male Models and Los Lotharios. Nothing really over the top. This was a fun little match. I do appreciate the fact that Hit Row is being protected. They're not losing any unnecessary matches. So, Masay, swear to God, it's so fucking stupid to even say these names. Masay was wearing down Ashante the Adonis. Dawkins then tagged in. He pounced Humberto. He was taking out everyone. We had a Stinger Splash and a Silencer to Masay. That got a 2. We had a Cannonball by Adonis off the apron. Enziguri by Humberto. Tope Con Hero by Dawkins. Top Dollar then kicked LA Knight or Max Dupree. All of a sudden, I think it was Mansois. I think it was Mansois that got in. Mansois was the legal man. Mansois delivered a crossbody to Top Dollar. He caught him, and then Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis delivered a dropkick suplex combo for the 1-2-3 victory. And Hit Row, they continue to look strong. They've been winning matches, and that was pretty much it. Really nothing else. Really nothing else more. The Alpha Academy. A shoosh. A shoosh, please. Thank you. So Chad Gable came out with the mic. Chad Gable with a live microphone is always a good thing. He goes, thank you. I'm going to start using that in my real life. I really don't give a shit. I'm going to start using that in my real life. Every single time someone does something nice for me, I'm just going to go, thank you. I don't give a shit. Call me a fucking geek all you want. I don't care. Chad Gable is great. So the crowd heavily booed. Gable then told everyone to shoosh. A shoosh, please. He said that they came to ruin Braun Strowman's debut. Yeah, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, the guy that tripped on his own 2 feet on Monday Night Raw. Everyone was saying that the Strowman Express got derailed. Strowman World Slide. He called Otis a superior athlete to Strowman, and he said Seattle knows nothing about superior athletes because they couldn't hold on to their own professional basketball team. The crowd just booed the shit out of Chad Gable. Chad Gable, absolutely fucking great. And you know something? The Alpha Academy are fucking losers. The Alpha Academy have been nothing more than enhancement talents, but they are so fucking good. Chad Gable's so fucking good at what he does that it doesn't even matter how many times that they lose. He is so good at what he does that he can get heat just like that. And I love that about Chad Gable. Chad Gable's amazing. So Strowman came out, made his way to the ring. He got new theme music. Strowman then went to work on Otis. Gable tried to attack, and then Strowman, obviously, did the slow head turn and everything. Strowman then, he powerbombed Gable, and then, this is what I will say. This is what I will say. Strowman, he powerbombed Otis with ease. He didn't stumble, he didn't struggle, he didn't botch, he didn't drop Otis on his neck. This wasn't a Kevin Nash, Paul White incident from WCW Nitro. He picked him up and dropped him perfectly right on his back. And Otis sold it beautifully. Strowman does not have a very high ceiling, but I will say that was impressive. That was impressive. Because Otis is not a small dude. So I will say that. And then in the main event, we had Drew McIntyre and Solo Sikoa. So it wasn't bad. The fight started right out of the gate. We had a Future Shock DDT immediately. Solo was then pulled out of the ring. Coming back from commercial, he was in control. Drew hit a nice belly-to-belly suplex. All of a sudden, Solo took over with a belly-to-belly, and then he delivered a hip attack in the corner. Drew mounted a comeback with a belly-to-belly throw, a neck breaker, and a kip-up. Drew was then tripped up by Sami Zayn behind the referee's back. Sami Zayn was then taken out. Drew then caught a super kick by Solo for a 2. Behind the referee's back, the Usos attacked Drew before the Street Profits came out. Ford dove off the top with a big frog splash. Claymore, Solo fell out of the ring. All of a sudden, Karrion Kross comes up from behind Drew, locks in the cross jacket. The screen goes to black and white. And then Michael Cole is just selling the shit out of it. Drew is trying to get out, but to no avail. And the screen just fades to black with the image of Karrion Kross keeping Drew McIntyre in the cross jacket. So it looks like that could be your match for Extreme Rules, which I have absolutely no issue with whatsoever. That's going to be a great fucking match. Pretty solid episode of SmackDown. Really solid episode of SmackDown. Some good stuff. And that was pretty much it. Probably the best WWE show of the week coming out of Clash at the Castle. I hope you guys have been having a damn good fucking time. Hope you guys have been having a damn good fucking time. I believe one of my friends, Jess, is also watching. One of my friends, Jeff, is also watching. So, Jess, if you're watching, please let me know. Just let me know how cool I really am. We got Rampage. We got a pretty solid show for Rampage, I will say. Pretty solid show for Rampage, I will say. We had 3 matches, exactly what needed to happen. This is the format that it needs. 3 matches with a segment or 2 sprinkled in between. Exactly what needs to come of Rampage. It is a great thing to see. So, Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin started off the show. This was a Tournament of Champions semi-finals match. Now, I expected a little bit better from these two. It was a very good match, but out of all the matches that we've seen Darby and Sammy in with AEW, this was probably the weakest. This was probably the weakest one. Still does not make it a good match. I mean a bad match, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm like thinking of two things. Now, we had a very technical start between the two. Very technical start between the two. We had Darby with a double arm stretch. Sammy then took over with some chops. Sammy Guevara then delivered a superplex. He then delivered a second suplex. He then tried for the Three Amigos, but Darby, he was able to hang on. Sammy tried to suplex Darby over the top rope. Both men hanged on. Darby then hit a suplex to Sammy on the floor and then a tope suicida, but Sammy Guevara countered with a beautiful cutter. Coming back from commercial, Guevara with a super kick, but Sammy was then caught with a code red for a 2. Sammy then with a super kick off the stairs. Darby then with another tope suicida after Sammy made out with his wife, Ty Conti. Darby then took Sammy's wedding ring off. He took Sammy's wedding ring off. Sammy then answered with a V-trigger. Sammy with a slingshot cutter, springboard cutter, beautifully done. Darby kicked out. Sammy then went for a coffin drop. He missed it. Anna Jay then got involved. Sammy then low-blowed Darby Allin, powerbombed him on his skateboard with the wheels up. He hit the go to hospital, and Sammy Guevara wins it. A very good match. I was expecting Darby Allin to win it, but I can't really complain about Sammy Guevara because Sammy's a great wrestler, and we did see these two fight once before. They had a very good matchup over 2 years ago when Dynamite was only like 4 months old. So I remember that match very, 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 very vaguely, but I remember it being very good. So I cannot wait to see what they do. We had Samoa Joseph. This is Samoa Joseph. He came out to address the crowd. Crowd was chanting Joe. He had a mic. He said, "My name is Samoa Joe, and it feels good to be back in AEW. I am open for business," he said. Smart Mark Sterling then came out. We had Smart Mark Sterling coming out with Josh Woods and Tony Nese. And he was hyping up Tony Nese and Josh Woods, saying that their business is never closed. And he said that Josh Woods should get a shot at the Ring of Honor TV Championship. Joe then agreed and said that Woods has been grinding his ass off. Joe wanted it to happen tonight, but Sterling said, no. We're going to do it next week on Rampage. So let's see what Josh Woods can do. We got that match next week on Rampage. Should be a pretty solid match. We had Madison Rayne versus Serena Deeb. This was a very, very quick match. Serena Deeb wins with the Serenity Lock. Really nothing over the top. I am looking at Serena Deeb versus Toni Storm, and I think that's the way that they're going. They're going with Serena Deeb versus Toni Storm because we got a tag team match next week. It's going to be Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb and Britt Baker. It could very well end with Serena Deeb getting the victory in that tag team match, probably pinning Hikaru Shida, and then we could get Serena Deeb versus Toni Storm, possibly at either Grand Slam or at Battle of the Belts 4, which I have no issue with at all. Powerhouse Hobbs was interviewed. He talked about putting Ricky Starks down at All Out, and he's looking to open up the book of Hobbs and show everyone that the Monstar is Powerhouse Hobbs. He carries himself very well, I will say that. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Hobbs can do. And then the main event. Main event was an excellent match between Claudio Castagnoli and Dax Harwood. This was for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Some people don't like the fact that Ring of Honor is being represented on AEW. I don't mind it because I know that you can't just leave these two floating around doing nothing. You can't just use these Ring of Honor championships on Ring of Honor shows when Ring of Honor doesn't have a TV deal. You got to use them on AEW television to make sure people know that they are around and the Ring of Honor TV deal is coming. I don't know when it's coming, but I hope it's coming quick. So this was an excellent match, easily one of the best matches of the week. If you were to tell me that Dax Harwood is the Pro Wrestler of the Year, I would not look at you in a weird way. Now, for me, it's probably Jon Moxley. For me, it's probably Moxley, but I respect anyone that chooses Dax Harwood. So we got some strikes being traded back and forth. Claudio then suplexed Dax over the top rope. Coming back from commercial, Dax was whipped into the post. Dax then caught a wicked lariat by Claudio for a 2. Dax then chopped Claudio off the top rope. We had a flying headbutt by Dax. That got a 2. Dax with a pile driver. Claudio kicked out. Claudio with a beautiful superplex off the top for a 2. Coming back from a second commercial, Dax with a slingshot Liger bomb for a 2. We had some German suplexes by Dax. Both men were on the top rope. Claudio with a cross-body counter to Dax's back superplex. Dax rolled through and rolled up Claudio for a close 2 count. Afterwards, we had chops and uppercuts being exchanged. Claudio then with the giant swing. Sharpshooter was locked in. Dax then took control, delivered a sharpshooter of his own. Claudio got out, delivered some stiff forearms, and then another sharpshooter. Dax tapped out. Afterwards, they shook hands, and that was it. Excellent, 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 excellent main event. Loved it from start to finish. And this was easily the best flowing Rampage of the entire month of August, September, all throughout the summer. Easily the best flowing Rampage throughout the summer. Absolutely loved it. Exactly what it needs to be. 3 matches. 3 matches with an interview with Hobbs, an interview with Joe. 3 matches with a segment or 2 in between. A lot of things had time to breathe. Nothing felt rushed. Everything flowed very nicely. Exactly what we needed. DD, you're a little late because I'm just getting ready to wrap up, but I want everyone to wish DD a happy birthday. She's going to be 42 tomorrow, and she still looks like $1,000,000. She's kept herself in phenomenal shape, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday tomorrow. God bless you, and stay safe as well. Don't overdrink, okay? Don't drink too much. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. You guys were great throughout the entire stream. I would like to thank every single individual who stopped by the chat. You guys were great. Excellent, 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 excellent stuff from start to finish. You guys make this all worthwhile, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful weekend. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. And of course, keep your eyes peeled for all new videos with the Lightning Flash Update. Of course, we got the rundown for Battle of the Belts and Extreme Rules coming up next month. I will be live in attendance for Grand Slam, so if you're going to Grand Slam, please hit me up. And of course, September 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time in the Totowa PAL at Totowa, New Jersey. It is ISPW, King of ISPW tournament, which I'm going to be live for. We're going to have a fun time. I hope to see some of you there who are on the East Coast. Until next time, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. I see we got a new supporter as well. JB. I don't know who JB is. But JB, we're going to show everyone here. I want everyone to show JB just what we do here to end the stream. We're going to end the stream on the question, who runs the IWC? Who runs it? Who runs the IWC? We want JB to know who runs the IWC. Can anyone give me the answer? I need someone to give me the answer. Who's going to give me the answer? Who runs the IWC? I see Paul Heyman in the background. It's Extreme Rules 20. I was actually there, live in attendance for Extreme Rules 2019 in the Wells Fargo Center. Shit show, but I had a fun time. But regardless, who runs the IWC? I'll tell you who. I will tell you who. Who? But DJ Mother fucking Storms. Don't you fucking forget it. You already know the drill, and I'll catch you guys next week.